You may not like it, but life is full of routine. Days get repetitive, and oftentimes you just find yourself doing the same thing over and over again. But there are exceptions. These are the people who are masters at finding loopholes and coming up with unusual ways to solve problems like no one else. Let's get it on! When the Chinese government wanted to build a new highway through a province in eastern China, they compensated the residents of a small farming village to relocate. Everyone accepted the offer except one elderly couple who owned a large 5-story house in the middle of the planned highway. The offer of 260,000 yuan, roughly $40,000, was nowhere near enough to rebuild a house of the same size, so the couple refused. Unfazed, the government built the highway around the couple's house anyway, creating what's called a nail house. They're pretty common all across China. However, this one just seems a little more extreme for some reason. I guess this truly is a case of my way or the highway. Just like any other competitive athlete, cyclists are always looking for new ways to improve their speed for a race. With a solid understanding of physics and a bit of big brain thinking, this guy was able to unclip his foot straps, orientate himself horizontally, and ride his bike Superman style as he pelted downhill. Instantly, it was apparent the move was working as he zoomed past other riders without even pedaling. From our angle, the bike seat seemed to be in a super painful position, but it didn't seem to faze him. Unfortunately for him, this showy maneuver is now banned in international cycling.
What?
The Amish are a community well known for shunning all things technology, but what they lack in modern understanding, they more than make up for with their hard work and cooperation. Through sheer numbers and impressive manpower, these bearded Luddites are literally able to lift a whole barn and move it as though it's nothing. What would take hours for a crane and several trucks is done in a matter of minutes with the horsepower of 300 Amish men. While some kids figured out how to beat the claw game using physics and a whole lot of practice, others decided to win by every other means necessary. With a big bag of prizes, onlookers were curious to figure out how this girl was so successful. Satisfied with her 2 failed attempts, the owner of the arcade walked off before revealing her true method of cleaning out the machine: magnets.
Magnets! Oh!
Sometimes the quickest point from A to B isn't a straight line. It's a complex, gravity-defying stunt to pull off the win of the century. When Michal Morosi took a nasty tumble in a Czech mountain bike race, even the commentators thought he was finished. The only person not convinced was Morosi himself. Catching up to the other riders, Michal saw a wall ahead and seized his opportunity to overtake his rivals, skirting across the wall and dropping into first place for the win. When we were younger, there was always that one kid who was a genius at the claw game. A couple dollars and he'd empty the whole machine like it was nothing. Ever wondered what happened to that kid when he grew up? Well, he's out in the sticks, delivering hay bales to the top floor of a barn. And in case you're wondering, yeah, he's still got it. Concreting is dirty work, and if you're in charge of smoothing over a large section of that wet concrete, you're bound to get just a little dirty. This worker found a way to keep his pants, boots, and hands dry, all while covering a large distance with his trowel. At this rate, he'll be done in no time. There are a lot of demands on today's parents. One of them is to always be on hand to play with your children, no matter how ridiculous the game is. Sometimes, though, mom needs a break, and this mom found the ultimate way to keep her kids entertained without even having to get up. Hey, it's the thought that counts, right? Bill Gates once said, "I choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it." This guy's clearly gunning for a job at Microsoft with this ingenious life hack. Combining his evening stroll around the grounds on a hoverboard with a snow shovel, you've got a new way to clear the sidewalk and go for a cruise at the same time. If you live in a colder climate, you're probably used to spending ages scraping off snow and ice from your car. This guy, however, figured out a little life hack that saves you hours trying to dig out your favorite ride. Normally, your leaf blower would lie unused during the winter months, but now you can use it to excavate your car, pickup, or RV in a matter of minutes. You'll still need to somehow remove the ice off your windshield before you can drive anywhere, but keep that leaf blower handy if you're looking to save some precious time. Peeling fruits and vegetables has to be one of the most mundane, repetitive, and mind-numbingly boring tasks in the kitchen, especially if you're a chef. Fortunately, this guy's figured out an ingenious way to peel apples using his handy drill hack. A task that would normally take hours and cramp your fingers and hands is now done in mere seconds. Imagine all the doctors you could keep away. If you've ever had to maintain a sizable patch of grass, the bane of your existence has to be the edges. Walking the edge of your lawn can be both time-consuming and, if your lawn is big enough, can cover a massive distance as well. Spencer would routinely walk long sections of sidewalk using his line trimmer to straighten the edges until he figured out that he could cut the time needed in a third. Using a Segway, Spencer now rushes down the pavement cutting super precise lines at breakneck speed. The cleanup job is just as fast too. Spencer grabs his leaf blower and jumps on the Segway for a quick zip around the perimeter. Any brick laborer will tell you stacking and loading bricks is the worst part of their backbreaking day. But rather than doing a handful at a time, this guy's using his head. Maybe he's paid per brick and not by the hour, in which case he's probably earning more than all of us. Speaking of frosted windshields, your options for seeing clearly used to consist of using credit cards, ice scrapers, and even license plates. But now, thanks to this inventive life hack, getting rid of an icy windshield is as easy as filling a plastic bag with hot water and sliding it down the frosted glass. It doesn't look like it should work, but it does, and surprisingly well. They say plumbers have a tough job, but every now and then they get away from leaky taps and clogged sinks to have a little fun. When loading up a forklift with PVC pipes, there's the slow, safe, and methodical way. And there's this. Running on moving pipes is a skill, no doubt, but you never know when that talent will come in handy. When competing in a college 400-meter hurdle race, Texas A&M athlete Infinite Tucker had an interesting way to secure victory if it came down to a photo finish. After breaking from most of the pack on the final straight, it was neck and neck between Tucker and the runner in the lane next to him. Right at the finish line, Tucker leapt out in a Superman dive to make sure he took home the gold. It's not every day you get a photo finish of someone flying past the line.
Yes, he dives for the tape.
Sooner or later, you're gonna accidentally have a car accident. Whether you accidentally reverse into a mailbox or get T-boned at an intersection, it's bound to happen eventually. Those dings and dents can be expensive to fix no matter how small, so when this guy worked out how to panel beat on a budget, the internet paid attention. Lining the dent with packing tape, he was able to apply a very specific force when pulling the tape back. The end result, a $1,000 repair completed for the cost of a $2 roll of packing tape. Tilers usually take their time, laying and positioning a single tile at a time to make sure no mistakes are made. Not these guys though. Using a knee dolly to move quickly, a 6-tile template frame, and an apprentice who knows what he's doing makes a whole lot of difference. It's even more impressive when you see just how much they've done already. When you're a cleaner, sitting down on the job could mean the difference between a steady paycheck and a place in the unemployment line. Unless, of course, it's all part of your plan to work smarter, not harder. This guy's mastered the art of wiping down escalator rails while sitting or squatting, taking the grunt work out of the yuck work. In competitive swimming, there are a whole heap of rules you must follow in order to compete legally. One of those rules states you can only swim underwater for the first 15 meters of a race, after which your head has to break the surface of the water. University of Texas swimmer Hill Taylor had been working on mastering his underwater speed, and despite knowing he'd be disqualified, set out to prove a point. As the championship race began, Taylor rocketed off underwater like a literal dolphin, easily outpacing his rivals before finally registering a world record time of 23.1 seconds. He would be disqualified and the time wouldn't count, but Hill still believes it was worth it.